Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and today I'm going to be talking about which brushes would I repurchase if something happened to my brushes and I lost all of them. Which ones are kind of the ones that I think are worth me having again. I guess this is pretty similar to my favorite brushes because these are definitely my favorite brushes, but it's a little different. I think I would probably include a little bit more in here if I was to talk about my absolute favorite, but these ones are just, to me, are worth repurchasing. This is actually the second time filming this video. I filmed it last weekend, but the audio was bad, so I'm refilming it, trying to get it up for you guys on Saturday, and it's now Friday, so this will be a top-down video, which I think is fine because we're here for the brushes and not for my face. So let's get right into it. I'm first going to start with the face brushes. So first and foremost, I would need a foundation brush and also a concealer brush, which I could use my fingers, but I prefer not to get my finger dirty from a product. I have this weird thing where I hate getting foundation and concealer like in the texture on my fingers. I hate it. Sometimes I do it, but I really prefer not to. But anyways, this is the IT Cosmetics Complexion Perfection Heavenly Luxe brush, and it has the all over side and then the conceal side, so it kind of serves dual purpose, which I usually would not be into double-sided brushes if they were eye brushes, but I think a face brush is okay. So I love this side for foundation, and then I love this side for under eye concealer. It's nice and small and precise, and it really gets in there and spreads product really quickly, so I really enjoy this brush. But for the most part, I prefer using sponges to spread out my foundation, but I do like a brush here and there to switch it up. Next up is a powder brush. This is from Milani, and I'm not really picky with my powder brushes. I have quite a bit. I have, I think, 3 or 4 other ones, and I love them all. My number one pick would be a Pfirrman brush, but actually Pfirrman went out of business, so I don't want to talk about them because you can't get those anymore. But I got this brush on a whim, and I really love it. It's nice and dense and very soft, so I love this one for setting my face. Then I would repurchase this Sephora Pro Angled brush. I think it's number 49. Now, I know that Sephora recently redid their brushes. I haven't checked if they redid this one as well, but this was actually my very first kind of real brush, if you will. And by that I mean that it had a specific task. It was from Sephora. It was a little bit on the pricey side. So I've had this brush for at least like 5 years now, and I just love this brush for powder contouring. Could even use it for bronzer too. I just love this. It's the perfect size. It's not too large. It's not too small. It's very soft. It's kept the quality throughout the years, even despite washing it. And I just cannot say enough good things about this brush. So next one, this is kind of cheating, but this is a Colourpop F20 brush, and it's from the set that comes with the kind of pink brush holder type of thing. It kind of looks like fall leather, and all the brushes are pink. It has a ton of face brushes and eye brushes and anything else you could ever possibly want. And I actually won this in a giveaway, and this brush is my favorite brush from the set by far. I had no idea how much I could possibly love this brush. I use this brush for cream blush application, and it is just so good. It picks up cream products perfectly and also applies them and blends them out effortlessly, so I cannot get enough of this brush. Unfortunately, since it does in a set, I am going to mention another brush which does not come in a set, but it's kind of similar, and this is the Colourpop Kabuki brush. So they're kind of similar. This one's a little bit maybe wider and denser, and it is a little bit stiffer because it is so dense, but this one also is great for cream blushes. So I love both of these two brushes, and I really wish Colourpop would just sell this brush separately because I would buy probably 3 of them. There's been nothing like it. So if you have any recommendations for a cream blush brush, then let me know. We have a couple more face brushes. This one is the Wet n Wild P75, and this is a highlighting brush. And I also bought this on a whim, and I love the way that it applies highlighter. It picks it up really nicely and lays it down. No complaints. It is a little bit on the larger side, but it is still pretty small, but it's not too big so that I still feel like I have some control and precision in application. It's very soft, it's very flimsy, it's pretty long, it kind of tapers out, and it's super affordable. Next up is another brush I've had for a very, very long time, but probably going on to 4 or 5 years. This is the Zoeva 222 Luxe All Over Shader. And I'm not really sure if they meant this as a shader for the lid because it's humongous and definitely too big for my eyelids, but I actually use this to set my under eye area, and it is so perfect for that. Something about just the way that it is shaped here, and that it's slightly flat, but it's not too flat, and it's very soft, and the bristles just bend really easily. So I love this one. It's been through so many washes, and this is the only brush I reach for to set under my eyes. I feel like I'll never need anything ever again. And then lastly, we have this Esom brush T38, and I got this from like a Muse Beauty Pro sale. It came with like a bundle of Viseart palettes or something like that, and I had no idea what I should use this for, absolutely no idea. And something possessed me to use it to blend out my cream contour, and I've been using it ever since. So this is also like, I would say 2 to 3 years old, give or take, and I love this for cream products, especially for contour. Really nice and precise and angled. It's very soft and bendy, and it just blends out my contour in like 0.05 seconds. It's so quick. I love this. I have tried other brushes, but nothing will compare. So I would definitely want this brush again. Next, onto some eye brushes. This first one is a Sephora silicone applicator, as you can see. And this one is just nice to have. It's really great for applying glitter, flakies, or formulas that are pressed but kind of flaky and textured. It's also good for cream types of formulas like the Kristen Lee Cosmetics Jelly multi-chromes that I have. And so I would just want to have this one to have around just in case I wanted to use it instead of a flat brush or something. Next up is an eyeliner brush. Sorry, this one's dirty, but this is the Sigma E06 Winged Liner Brush, and this is my absolute favorite eyeliner brush of all time. When I first got it, I was very skeptical. I thought that the shape was really strange, really weird angle cut, not anything that I've seen before or have had before. But the moment I used it, it just felt so easy to use without a learning curve, and that's really what I was looking for when I was really doing a lot of winged looks. And now I definitely do a lot less liners, but I do like using this for more graphic looks or just colorful looks with some of my water activated liners that I have. And this one was gifted to me by Sigma, and I bought another one because I really wanted to have 2 of these on hand. That's how much I love this brush. Next up is the Repur 03 brush. This is a very small pencil brush, and I absolutely love this one for connecting my outer eyeshadow with my lower lash line. You will see me using this brush all the time. Before I had this one, my favorite pencil brush used to be from Sigma, but this one is even smaller and even more tapered, and it's just so perfect to get right up in there without dragging the eyeshadow too low. So I really enjoy this brush. I have another backup of this one because I love this one so much. Need to have one on hand at all times. Next one is kind of like a miscellaneous brush. This is the Hakuhodo. Oh, I don't know what number this is. I'm gonna have to find it for you and I'll put it up on the screen. But I've had this brush for a very long time as well, probably 3-4 years at least. And this is just a really interesting shaped brush. I honestly had no idea when I got it what I would use it for. I kind of thought using it all over the lid or applying shimmers, but I actually love this brush for creating a shadow wing, and I have a tutorial up on that on my channel. I will pop up a picture so you can see what I'm talking about. And I just love this for mapping out the wing and then filling it in. It's perfect. It's nice and like kind of tapered in. It's very flat and it's very tiny, which is very important for creating a shadow wing. So this one is by far my favorite, and I haven't found any new brushes that are good for that, at least personally. Maybe there's another Hakuhodo brush that I use sometimes, but it's much shorter and it's black and it's stiff, so I prefer this one. It's a little bit softer and just has a lot more bend. Next up for a lid application, we have the Hakuhodo J242 brush. I have so many flat brushes, especially from Colourpop, and there's a lot of them are discontinued, so I couldn't mention those. But also, while they are really nice, I find that certain eyeshadows do apply better with a little bit of a fluffier flat brush versus a completely slicked down. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is a Colourpop brush, and this one used to be kind of my holy grail, but it's like a little bit stiffer, as you can see, and also it's just like a totally different, it's very flat and it doesn't have any kind of like fuzziness to it, while this one, you know, like you can really just pick up looser kind of shadows with this brush. So I've been really loving this one. Next up is the Sonia G Flat Definer brush, and this brush I also was skeptical about purchasing. I wasn't really sure what I would use it for. Then one day I didn't have any clean flat brushes to do a cut crease with, so I used this brush, which technically I don't think I should be using anything kind of creamy or liquid with these bristles, but I did it, and honestly it was life-changing. It's just so small and precise, and I love the way that it kind of curves here, and I was able to do a cut crease so quickly and effortlessly. And it's also great for packing on shimmer shadows on the lid. But for smaller areas, for example, if you're putting a shimmer on the inner part and then on the center of the lid, this is good for the inner portion because it is so small, so it doesn't cover a large area. So if you want a shimmer all over the lid, I would definitely use the Hakuhodo over this one. But I just love this little brush. There's just so many things I could do with it. It's a really great brush for multiple different purposes. Next up, if I lost all my brushes, I would definitely want a really large fluffy blending brush, and not for blending eyeshadow, but possibly setting my lid or just kind of feathering out the edges further. I have a bunch of these, and honestly I don't think it really matters. They all perform pretty nicely, but this is the Kaleidos S1 brush, and it's pretty large, and I just like using it. It's super soft and bendable, and I like the shape of it, so I like this one for setting all over the lid or just feathering out the edges of my eyeshadow a little further with no product on it or something like that. But really, there's so many really huge brushes you could use for this. Next up, I have these two Hakuhodo brushes. This one is the J50 533 and B142. I've had these for a very long time as well. As you can see, this is rubbing off here. These are like very similar in size and shape, but they're just a little bit different. The 142 is a bit more tapered, while the 5533 has more of a blunt end, and I just love these. And these are both a great shape and size for laying down a transition shade just when you're starting out with a look. And I feel like they're small enough where I do have some control and precision in application without being too large or too small to start with. So these are kind of my go-tos if they're clean, of course. So with this type of shape, you will basically disperse eyeshadow kind of wider, versus here you will disperse it mainly here at the tip and then feather it out on the edges. So that's why I like both of these shapes. I honestly can't choose which one I would pick. Probably one or the other. I'm not sure which one right at this moment, but if I lost all my brushes, I would definitely get one of these. Next up, we have more blending brushes. I know this is going to be very blending brush heavy because I use blending brushes so much. I like to switch in between different shapes all the time. I always have to have something clean. So the first thing would be, if I lost my brushes, I would get some blending brushes. So these are from Makeup Shack. This is the T36 and T87, and honestly they're pretty much the same. So that's why I'm just talking about them together, because they're basically the same thing. I don't really see much difference. They're both dirty, but these are both super soft and they're very great for the crease, laying down a transition shade or just blending out more crease stuff, or even blowing out the outer crease. So I really enjoy these, and they're pretty affordable. Next up, we have just a bunch of really tiny blending brushes. And these are a must and a staple if you have hooded eyes. I cannot stress this enough. You need small blending brushes to really be able to have control and precision in application and blending out. And these are just great overall to have if you have smaller lids and not just hooded eyes. So let's first talk about these, the Wayne Goss and the Rephr. We have Wayne Goss 20 and 19 and 13 and 14 from Rephr. These are pretty much identical shapes. I don't know if this is a coincidence or what. The Wayne Goss brushes are shorter, but they're literally the same thing. So I would probably pick between one or the other. Personally, I love the Wayne Goss brushes a little bit more. I do feel like, in my humble opinion, they're a little bit better quality than the Rephr, but I do also love the Rephr. I have doubles of these. They also have these at like half the cost sometimes on the website. So if you want these shapes from Wayne Goss but you don't want to pay the price, I would get the Rephr, but I love these. You cannot have enough of these, so I would probably just repurchase both of them. Then we have this Hakuhodo J146 brush. I've had this one for quite a bit. This one is really small, but it's really elongated and tapered, and it's held up so great through all the washings I put it through. Hakuhodo brushes are just such a great quality, and so this one is also really great for if you're trying to do like a cut crease, for example, and you just want to kind of deepen up the crease without bringing it up too high. You can really get in there with this and pack on a deeper shade. You can use this for the outer crease too, pack on the shade and blend it out. There's just so many things. This is just a really great brush to have overall. And then lastly, we have these two brushes, which I would say are the smallest from all of these really small already brushes. And we have the Hakuhodo J5529 and the Makeup Shack T63. I've had this Makeup Shack brush for quite a long time. It is a staple. Probably will get more of these because it's just the tiniest, cutest little blending brush. I absolutely love it. It's very soft and lots of bendability. It just blends out the outer crease so nicely. I love this for precision. Same with the Hakuhodo. And the Hakuhodo brush is just a little less thinner down here at the base, and it's also just less flared out as this one, which I'm sure it will flare out over time because this one is so much older. But these brushes are just staples in my collection, and I feel like a broken record at this point, but these are super small and I love them so much. So there you have it. These are the brushes that I would repurchase if I lost all my brushes. I feel like these are really worth repurchasing to me. There's probably a bunch of other brushes I might consider, but when I went through all of these and I put them next to each other, these ones are the ones that stood out, as these ones are the ones I reach for the most, given that they're clean, of course. So I guess you could say these are also my kind of most favorite brushes. There's probably more. If I could choose more, I would add in more. Like I said before, you cannot have enough blending brushes, especially really small blending brushes. So that is everything for this video. Let me know in the comments below which brushes you find worthy of repurchasing in your collection. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to keep watching some more of my content, I will leave up some videos on the screen for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.